Hello everyone and welcome to my screencast lesson. In this screencast I'm going to show you how to create a basic pivot table in Excel. First, you need to open your formatted saved Excel worksheet. Click Insert along the top navigation bar. On clicking the Insert tab, you select the pivot table icon, wherein you get a create pivot table dialog box where you enter the range and of cells you'd like to summarize in the pivot table. Here, if we observe, on clicking the pivot table icon, the application has automatically taken the data in the table or the data from the data sheet that we've uploaded into the provision against the table/range. So next we choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed. It can be either placed in a new worksheet or in the second option is existing worksheet. We will choose the new worksheet and click OK. But before we proceed further, please note if you're using a version of Excel earlier than Excel 2016, pivot tables may be under tables or data along the top navigation rather than insert. In Google Sheets, you can create pivot tables from the data drop-down along the top navigation. Now that the Excel has created a blank pivot table as seen on the screen, next step is the drag and drop a field into the row labels area, which is to the right of the window pane, exactly where I'm hovering the cursor below in the window pane to the right of the screen. Now this will determine what unique identifiers the pivot table will organize the data by. Therefore, simply click and drag the attributes of fields to the row label areas. In this case, as an example, we're going to take the fixed acidity and the volatile acidity. You can choose as many attributes as you want, but right now we're going to just I chose 2 attributes. Now the next step we would go to is to drag and drop a field into the values area, which is just adjacent to the rows label area. Now once you've established what you're going to organize your data by, your next step is to add in some values by dragging a field into the values area. Sticking by the fixed or the volatile acidity attributes, let's say you want to summarize red wine quality data by its pH value. And to do this, you'd simply drag the pH field into the values area as seen on the screen. The last step is to fine-tune your calculations. The sum of the particular value will be calculated by default. As we see here, it shows sum of the pH value under the values label area. But you can also fine-tune or easily change this to something like a count, average, maximum, or more, or choose more options by moving the cursor on the left of the Excel sheet, which is the sum of pH, and right-clicking on the sum of the pH cell and navigating to summarize values by count, or access the menu accordingly as shown on the screen. You can even change it to count, average, maximum, minimum, product, more options, etc. So now that we have our pivot table ready, this is our basic pivot table which we've created. And now that we have our basic pivot table ready for generating reports for our data analysis, now let's jump into some practice using these steps. You can practice as many times to analyze the data you choose to summarize, and in the end I'm sure you will be able to create a basic pivot table and group data into the table to view it from a different perspective.